Hello and welcome to Knights at the Game Table, where tonight we're going to be talking about how psychic powers work. Psychic powers are the special mystical abilities, psychic abilities or magic of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, and most of the armies have access to one or more units and one or more disciplines of psychic powers. For example, the Space Marines have their Librarians, and the Craftworld Eldari have their Farseers, Warlocks, and Spirit Seers. Right now I'm going to talk you through an example of the most common psychic power, Smite, which almost every psyker in the game has access to. And in this example, I've got a Eldari Craftworld Farseer, which is our psyker here, and over on the other side, I've got some Space Marines and some Imperial Guard. Smite, here's one of the data cards for it, is a psychic power that has a warp charge value of 5, and if manifested, will deal 1d3 mortal wounds to the closest visible enemy unit within 18 inches. It also does bonus damage if your psychic test is more than 10, and we'll get to that in a moment. So in this example, the Farseer, the closest visible enemy unit to the Farseer is this Space Marine Tactical Squad, so you're going to attempt to manifest Smite. When you manifest a psychic power, you roll 2 6-sided dice and try and meet or exceed the warp charge value. Warp charge value of Smite is 5. It's a fairly easy power to manifest, so we're trying to get 5 on 2 6-sided dice. It's a 5 and a 4 for 9. We're good. That Smite has gone off successfully and manifested. It's now going to deal D3 mortal wounds to this tactical squad. So we roll a 6-sided dice. A 1 or 2 is a 1, 3 or 4 is a 2, 5 or 6 is a 3. That's the typical way of resolving a D3. We've got a 3, which is 2 on our D3. We're going to deal 2 mortal wounds and kill 2 Marines from this tactical squad. Let's say the Farseer wants to smite this squad of Guardsmen instead of the Space Marine. He needs the Guardsman to be the closest visible enemy unit. So he's going to take a 7-inch move over here. Now he is about 5 inches from the Guardsman and more like 6 from the tactical squad. So now he can smite the Guardsman. Again, he's looking for a 5. He's good on a 6. That's going to deal 3 mortal wounds, and the Guard player is going to pick 3 of these models to be removed from the board. Now, because manifesting psychic powers is dangerous in the grimdark world of the 41st millennium, you'll send your mind in contact with the warp, which is where strange reality warping demons live. There are risks attached. If you roll either a double 1 or a double 6 on your psychic check, then before anything else happens, you're going to suffer perils of the warp. This is going to make your psyker take a D3 mortal wounds himself. In this case, we got a 3. And if this kills him, he is going to explode and deal damage to units around him. You'll find the full rules for this in your Warhammer 40,000 8th edition rulebook. If you get a double 1 on your check, you're going to take your D3 mortal wounds from perils of the warp, and you're pretty much going to fail because you rolled a 2 on your psychic check, unless somehow there's a massive amount of modifiers involved. If you roll a double 6, that's a 12, you're certainly going to go off, but after you take your wounds, assuming you don't die, you're still going to manifest your power. Now, Smite in particular has a bonus. If your psychic test is more than 10, you do a D6 mortal wounds instead of a D3. So if this Farseer goes off, gets a 12 on his dice, 2 6s, he perils, he takes 3 wounds but survives. He's then going to put 6 mortal wounds into this guard squad. Say a 3 mortal wounds, takes these out of the way. It damages your potential to do damage, which can be extremely useful. Now, depending on what school your psyker is from, he's going to know different abilities. You'll typically pick these at the start of the game, and your psyker's data sheet and your codex will tell you how many powers he knows and from which disciplines. This Farseer is going to know 2 psychic powers. He's going to know Doom and Fortune. And the Farseer can manifest 2 psychic powers each psychic phase. So let's start our psychic phase over. Let's put him back here. And let's say, first of all, he wants to cast Fortune, which is a defensive buff on this unit of Rangers. It's got warp charge value of 7, so on 2d6 he's going to go for a 7. That's a 3, so it would fail in this case. However, he can still manifest another power. So you've got a choice between Doom and Smite. Let's say he wants to put Doom on these Tactical Marines, which is a debuff, makes it easier for friendly units to wound. We need a 7 again. There is 10 on the dice, so Doom is going to go off. A lot of people like to put the data card next to the unit that's affected, so remember that this unit has been doomed. There's one other important part of manifesting psychic powers, which is the chance to deny them. I don't have a librarian handy, so I'm going to swap out these Imperial troops for a moment. And I'm going to bring in this Orc Weird Boy. And I'm going to bring in this unit of Gretchen. Okay, so now these Psychers are going to have a bit of a mind battle when one of them tries to manifest a psychic power and the other one attempts to deny the witch, to suppress his ability to use that power. Let's go with something basic again. Let's say that the Weird Boy wants to smite this unit of Rangers. So he's going to roll 2d6. He'd fail on a 3, but let's try that again for this example. A 6. Okay, we've got a 6 for the psychic check. That beats Smite's warp charge value of 5. So the Orc player is ready to dish out some mortal wounds and kill off a bunch of these Rangers. However, the Farseer is within range to deny the Weird Boy. Every Psyker in the game gets a number of deny attempts every psychic phase. The Farseer has 2 attempts. He can attempt to deny 2 different psychic powers. You can only attempt to deny each power once. So for this Smite manifestation, he's going to try and beat that 6 on 2 6-sided dice. And he has to get above that number to stop it. Eldar player rolls 2d6, gets a 3. In this case, he's failed the deny, the Smite's going to go off, and the Weird Boy is going to deal 2 mortal wounds, kill off 2 of these Rangers. Conversely, if the Eldari player rolls better and gets a 8 on his check, that is more than the 6. He has denied the witch, and the Smite test will now fail despite beating the warp charge value. That's been your guide to Psychers and Psychic Powers in Warhammer 40,000 8th edition, and we'll catch you next time on Knights at the Game Table.